A major reversal. Trump signs off on sending offensive weapons to Ukraine. So who's footing the bill? Plus, the Epstein backlash just got louder. Some on the right and left now demanding full disclosure as Trump steps in to defend his attorney general. And straight from another planet to the auction block, the biggest piece of Mars ever found now up for grabs.
The stories that matter, clear and credible, from across the country to around the world. These are your unbiased updates from Straight Arrow News.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kaylee Carey, in today for Craig Negrelli. We begin with a major shift this morning in the U.S. approach to Ukraine, and it's coming from President Donald Trump. He told reporters Sunday that the U.S. will send Patriot missile systems to help Ukraine defend against ongoing Russia attacks. Trump has been taking a sharper line on Putin in recent weeks, growing frustrated over failed ceasefire talks and continued strikes on civilians. The president, who's previously been cautious about U.S. involvement, now says Putin, quote, talks nice but bombs civilians at night, and that Ukraine needs better protection. He also made clear this won't be a free handout, claiming European allies will foot the bill.
We basically are going to send them various pieces of very sophisticated military. They're going to pay us 100% for them. We're in for about $350 billion. Europe is in for $100 billion. That's a lot of money, 100, but they should be in actually for more than us. So as we send equipment, they're going to reimburse us for that equipment. Doesn't that sound good?
Trump is also expected to unveil a broader plan to send more offensive weapons to Ukraine, a significant shift from his earlier stance. He's set to lay out that plan in a meeting today with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, who's in Washington. This morning, Texas is seeing more flooding as rescue and recovery efforts continue after the deadly 4th of July storms. Those efforts put on hold as new rounds of heavy rain slammed Kerr and Gillespie counties. Kerr County took the hardest hit on Independence Day, and officials now confirm that more than 130 people died in that flooding. County commissioners are set to meet today for the first time since the devastation. Texas Governor Greg Abbott said in an X post last night that dozens of Texans had already been rescued from this latest flooding in the Lampasas area about an hour north of Austin. The political fight over the Jeffrey Epstein files is back, and this time it's triggering uproar across both parties. Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna says he'll introduce an amendment Tuesday to force a vote on releasing all Epstein-related documents. He posted on X, "Why are the Epstein files still hidden? Who are the rich and powerful being protected?" This comes after a DOJ memo claimed there's no evidence Epstein kept a client list or was murdered, setting off backlash across the MAGA movement. Trump defended Attorney General Pam Bondi over the weekend under fire from his own base, writing on Truth Social, "Let Pam Bondi do her job. She's great," and calling Epstein somebody nobody cares about. Trump is also pointing fingers, asking why the, quote, radical left didn't release the files during the Obama or Biden years. Meantime, Elon Musk weighed in online, echoing calls for full transparency, and conservative voices like Stephen Bannon and Tucker Carlson are accusing Bondi of a cover-up. The European Union is hitting pause on its response to Trump's tariff threats after a new letter from the president warned of 30% tariffs on EU goods. In that letter, Trump said unless a deal is reached, the U.S. will impose higher tariffs starting on August 1st. On Sunday, EU President Ursula von der Leyen announced the bloc would suspend its planned countermeasures, which were set to take effect today to allow more time for negotiations.
We have always been very clear that we prefer a negotiated solution. This remains the case, and we will use the time that we have now till the 1st of August. And on the second track, since the very beginning, we have worked and now are ready to respond with countermeasures. We've prepared for this, and we can respond with countermeasures if necessary. So this two-track approach pays off because we are prepared.
Trump posted the same letter to Mexico's president, warning that if either the EU or Mexico retaliates with higher tariffs, quote, then whatever the number you choose to raise them by will be added on to the 30% that we charge. The head of Air India says the investigation into last month's deadly crash is far from over, and this morning he's urging people not to jump to conclusions. In an internal memo to staff obtained by Reuters, CEO Campbell Wilson said the preliminary report released over the weekend raises serious questions, but didn't assign blame or identify a cause. He called speculation at this point unwise. The report showed both engine fuel switches were flipped to cut off just after takeoff, starving the engines of fuel and sending the plane into a fatal descent. But how that happened, whether it was accidental, mechanical, or something else, remains unclear. The crash of Flight 171 killed 260 people, including 19 on the ground, making it the world's deadliest aviation disaster in more than a decade. Finally this morning, how about owning a piece of space right here on Earth? That is, if you can afford it. Okay, maybe it's not so little. This 54-pound rock may look ordinary, but it's actually the largest piece of Mars ever found on Earth. According to Sotheby's, which is auctioning it off Wednesday, the meteorite is believed to have blown off Mars by a massive asteroid strike, then traveled 140 million miles through space before crashing into Africa's Sahara Desert. The one-of-a-kind Martian rock is expected to sell for between $2 and $4 million. Before we head out, here's what we're tracking today. At 10 a.m., President Trump meets with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte at the White House. Also at 10, Kerr County commissioners in Texas hold their first official meeting since the deadly 4th of July floods that killed more than 100 people. Then at 3:30 Eastern, the Republican Study Committee holds a press conference marking 1 year since the assassination attempt on President Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. Want more unbiased updates? Sign up for our newsletter. Just the facts, no fluff, delivered right to your inbox each morning. Go to san.com/newsletters. Those are your unbiased updates for this Monday. Craig Negrelli will be back tomorrow. For all of us here at Straight Arrow News, I'm Kaylee Carey. Have a great day.